If this is something you're looking to do as either a hobby or especially if you're going to be doing this for a living, song covers, of course, can be a vast and broad topic. I try to keep things as detailed as possible in this video, how to record cover songs. So if you're looking to record your very own version of popular songs like Tennessee Whiskey or Uptown Funk, well, today's video is for you. So let's get started. All right, step number one for recording your own cover songs is that you acquire the digital version or an MP3 of the song that you're covering. No matter what song you're going to be covering, we need to have a digital copy of it. There's many different ways of getting MP3s of songs. Just make sure you keep it legal. Here's the method I use for getting an MP3 of the songs that I'll be covering. If I'm looking to do a song cover, it's usually of a song that I already own. So I scroll through my iTunes library or the music app until you find the song that you're looking to cover. You'll want to make sure that the song has been downloaded to your computer and that it's not on the cloud. Just simply right click and then select download. Or you can just look next to the title of the song. There should be a downward pointing arrow for you to download the music. Once the song has been downloaded to your computer, just right-click the song, and if you're using Windows, it'll say Show Song File in Windows Explorer, or if you're using Apple, right-click the song title and select Show in Finder. So this is the digital audio file that we'll be using when we're doing our song cover. Step number two is we want to import our MP3s into a DAW. DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation. This can be known as Pro Tools, Logic, GarageBand, Ableton Live. There's so many of them out there. Personally, I use PreSonus Studio One. So if none of that made sense to you, I want to encourage you to check out the videos I have on my channel about recording your first song in PreSonus Studio One. In those videos, I'll explain how to use the software and you'll be able to see what it does. You don't have to spend money on a DAW. A lot of these companies make free versions for you to use as well. If this is something you're looking to do as either a hobby or especially if you're going to be doing this for a living, I highly recommend you check out at least the artist version of PreSonus Studio One. Here I have the PreSonus Audio Box USB 96 audio interface. A lot of times when you get interfaces like this, especially from PreSonus, it's going to have the artist version of Studio One included. What this does is it has a USB cable that goes out the back of this box into your computer, and it allows you to plug in either two microphones or you can have two guitars. You can plug in a microphone and a guitar at the same time. It's got a headphone out, and it's generally going to make the audio quality of whatever computer you're using a lot better to have an audio interface. Of course, for this video, I'm going to be showing you what I do using PreSonus Studio One. The great thing about Studio One is it's really intuitive. So all we have to do when we created a new song in PreSonus Studio One is drag and drop the audio file of the song that we want to cover right into the session. Step number three is we need to set up a click track. The click track or the metronome will make doing a song cover so much easier and a whole lot more accurate. Not every song was recorded to a click track or a metronome, but in 2024, it's highly unlikely that the song's not going to fit onto a grid. If you're not sure what to set your click track or your metronome to, just do a simple Google search. Like I'll Google search Waiting on the World to Change BPM. BPM stands for beats per minute. And for the most part, your first result in Google is going to tell you exactly what the tempo needs to be for your song. Once you have that number figured out, go back into your DAW or PreSonus Studio One and change the tempo so that it matches. Step number four is we need to align the MP3 to the grid. In Studio One, it makes it easy, again, because I can just click and drag the audio file until it matches up with the click. If you can't hear the click in PreSonus Studio One, just hit the C key on your keyboard and you should be hearing something clicking in your headphones. If things aren't lining up just right, look for the drums or maybe a kick and a snare drum to let you know exactly where that downbeat is going to be in your song. Step number five when you're creating your own song covers is that you turn down the volume of the original track. You have to understand that songs that have been mastered by professionals are a lot louder than what we're going to be recording at. So for now, a good rule of thumb is just to take the track of audio and turn it down to -18. So look for a fader on that track, go down to -18, and that should make it a lot more competitive with what you're going to be recording. If you skip this step, you're going to find that when you're recording, it's a lot harder for you to hear what you're playing. It's a lot harder for you to sing along with the original track because all you're going to be hearing is that original audio, and you won't be able to hear yourself performing. Step number 6 is to add tracks for recording. Now at this point, it's up to you as to what kind of cover you want to be doing. You might just be taking an original song that has no drums in it, and maybe you want to play drums alongside. Maybe you want to take an acoustic version of a song and you just want to play electric guitar on top of it. Those are pretty simple song covers, and all it will require you to do is to create 1 or 2 tracks, maybe one for a vocal and 1 track for a guitar. So if you want to take it to the furthest extreme, you can actually try to recreate the entire original song if you like. This includes things like recording drums, bass guitar, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, vocals. You can go crazy with it. Now, I don't want to get a copyright strike in this video, so you're not going to be hearing the original John Mayer Waiting on the World to Change, and you're not going to be hearing me playing Waiting on the World to Change, but it will sound awfully similar if I can get away with it. Again, if recording is brand new to you, I want to encourage you to check out the links in the description of this video for videos I've done on how to record your first song in PreSonus Studio One. Those are topics that I can't fit them all into this one video, but also feel free to make some requests in the comments section if you'd like a specific video in the future. Step number 7 of creating your own song covers is to mix the tracks to taste. Again, mixing is one of those rabbit holes that we can go into for hours and hours. I just want to recommend that everyone that's mixing or recording a song cover, that you use what's called a limiter plugin. A limiter plugin is going to allow us to get that same intense volume without clipping our signal. So your recorded tracks, if you want them to be just as loud or competitively mixed to that original professionally done mixed version, you're going to need a limiter. PreSonus Studio One have a lot of built-in plugins. The limiter is one that you can get in the artist version and of course in the professional version as well. Take the limiter, turn the gain up so that your tracks are nice and loud. And then when it comes to EQ, compression, and reverb, again, check out videos on my channel for that. Just make sure you mix everything to taste so that it sounds as good as possible. A simple mix, I just recommend each of your tracks have an instance of EQ, compression, and then set up some sort of reverb, because reverb is something that if you're in a room like this, if you're in a small bedroom setting, adding reverb will give you that ambience that we really like hearing on professional mixes. Now that you've got your tracks recorded and mixed, it's just time to export your audio. So step number 8 is to export your song cover. In Studio One, they make this pretty easy by using what's called the loop region. I can just click and drag over all of my audio tracks. I can go up to Song, Export, Mix Down, and they'll give me several options of how I want to export my song. I want to recommend that if you're trying to keep the quality as high as possible, that you go with what's called a WAV file or WAV file. Keep it at 24-bit and then whatever sample rate you would record it at. Most of the time, 24-bit 48K is going to be plenty fine, especially if you're doing a song cover. I recommend that you don't export to MP3. It sounds good because MP3 is a smaller file size, but whenever you start uploading MP3s to things like YouTube, Spotify, or any of these streaming platforms, MP3 tends to get really garbly sounding, and it's not going to sound as good as it does on your computer. So try to keep it in WAV format as long as possible. Again, when we go to export mix down, Studio One's going to ask us, what do we want to export? And you can tell it, I want to export between the loop region. Song covers, of course, can be a vast and broad topic. I try to keep things as detailed as possible in this video, but if you're new to recording and mixing, like I said before, the best thing you can do is click one of the subscribe buttons or watch this playlist that I have on screen for PreSonus Studio One. Watch a few of those videos, and again, check out the Audio Box USB audio interface from PreSonus and the artist version of Studio One. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and I'll see you next time.